Hey guys, it's Caleb here, and today on the channel we're going to be doing something a little bit different. But before we jump right into it, I just want to say please, if you like the content I've been putting out here on my personal channel, I know it's a little bit different than the stuff you usually see me in, which is the point of it. But yeah, please hit that like and subscribe button. Alright, so let's just jump right into it, because intros are overrated. So today we're going to be taking a look at some interesting gun builds found around the internet or people have sent to me. I think a lot of these are from Reddit, but yeah, because they have people there that like to collect these too. So let's just jump right into it. All right, so the first picture up here, and let me see, I was going through these earlier. Oh my goodness. Okay. So there's a lot going on here. So the important thing to remember in this video, okay, I'm not just going to come out and blast these guns and just straight up make fun of them and move on to the next one. What we're going to be doing here is offering some constructive criticism, because that's just how my brain works, and that's the kind of person I am, I guess. I don't... Somebody mentioned, like, hey, you should take these gun builds and do a video roasting them, and I was like, yeah, that's funny, but I also want to do it in a constructive way. So that's what we're doing. All right. Now that you've been staring at this, you probably haven't heard a word I just said, because this has been blowing your mind as much as it is blowing mine. First of all, I just want to say, with everything going on this gun, all the nonsense, I think this is actually a real law folder. I can't be 100% sure, but it looks legit, which is crazy. So, and I say that's crazy, like I like the law folder. It's a great product. I just think it's crazy in conjunction with all of this stuff. Because like the dude wanted a folding stock so bad that he spent $40 on an optic and $200 on a folder, or however much they run, I don't even know. And I think these are the G10 rail scales. So there's like a lot of like, this dude was like, whoever built this gun was not like going for the meta of everything. He was like, I want some G10 rail scales, so I'm gonna mount my optic nowhere usable. First of all, I'm not familiar with this Sightmark optic because I don't use Sightmark optics, but let me know in the comments, guys, is this pointing downward? Like, I guess because it's mounted so high, he wanted to get like a 10-yard zero. I don't know what's going on. It's rough. And also, this appears to be a standard front sight mounted at the front, which is great. The rear sight, is this a 45 offset rear sight? I don't recognize the brand of it, but that's interesting. The worst thing about this gun may or may not be the red anodized charging handle. I'm just kidding. I personally, red anodized parts drive me crazy, or bright anodized parts in general. But anyway, that's beyond the point. Okay. I don't know where to go to next. The Magnifier. First of all, we got to get both of these optics on the receiver. We got to get... someone explain to me, please, because it's escaping me, why the hell that front sight is, or that sight mark is mounted so high? Is it because that magnifier is only usable that high? Because it looks like the magnifier is in like the halfway position. Like, am I seeing that right? I don't know. Let me know so I can try to understand it. This thing, I'm gonna go to bed tonight. I'm gonna wake up at like 3 a.m. with just sweats thinking about this setup. Oh man. Okay. Yeah. Let's move on. Okay. Something went wrong. You gosh dang right it did. Another situation where the optic is so not as severe, right? We're a little bit better. This one's actually easier to look at after looking at that last one. But that front and rear, what's the words? I can't even talk. The optic and the magnifier. Like, okay, first off, your optic, sure, it's not all the way on the handguard, but you're bridging that gap. It's not that big of a deal with a handguard this short because the deflection's not gonna, it's probably not gonna mess up the optic that much. But it's still bad practice. So don't do that. And then that's magnifier. Just move the magnifier back, and then move your main optic back. Or on a build like this, just get rid of the magnifier altogether. Like, what are you doing? Obviously, you're not reaching out with this thing. It's a PDW. You literally have the SB Tactical PDW brace on it. Use it like a PDW. If you want a gun that reaches out and touches something, you saved enough on this build to be able to build that. Trust me. If this is your only gun, maybe consider selling this one and building something a little different if you want something that you can do everything with. But you're going about it the wrong way with this in this particular scenario. Let's talk about that flashlight too. I don't know which light that is, but the thing looks like a freaking lightsaber. You can cut through doors with that thing. Like, that's insane. Your barrel's gonna overheat if you turn on your flashlight. Like, that's where we're looking at. You're getting close to the cook-off temperature of your round just by running that light. Obviously, I'm joking that's not gonna happen, but dang, that thing's insane. Also, I'm looking at the cable coming out the light. It's coming out the back of the light. Is his pressure pad like going into the light mount? Is that what I'm looking at here? So like he can hit it with his, I don't know. Look at this, guys. Y'all, somebody tell me. Up here, right there. Look at that. What's going on? This is dropping. I don't know. Like I said, we're doing something new. This is the first one of these videos. Guys, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do any more of these. This is giving me a migraine, is what this is doing. So in all seriousness, get that light mounted a different. First off, on a build this small, I would recommend a smaller light to complement said build. Also, let's maybe get it in a different mount. Let's get it lower to the gun. Let's get it maybe mounted on the side. All right, it doesn't have to be. It's already offset. It doesn't have to be the same bore axis. Okay, let's do some corrective action there. If any of you also watching this video, looking at that shadow too, that pin's not in all the way, but that's an easy fix. Just push it in. If any of y'all know who makes this trigger, I think this is an Aero Precision lower. I actually have one of these lowers. It's a pretty solid lower. If you know what trigger that is, drop it in the comments because I don't recognize it. I do know that is a Lancer mag. We got a Magpul grip. That's the SB Tactical PDW brace. Looks like a standard charging handle. Okay. That is like a knockoff. What was that one? The Noveski Flaming Pig. This is like a knockoff of that, I think. But anywho, let's move on. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So, there's a lot to talk about. We got an Armalite. So, hold on, let me read the caption. So, someone on Reddit clipped this, posted it in the Reddit for everyone to enjoy. So this happened today. Stopped at my local LGS local gun store, or local gun shop, tomato, to get ammo and came out with my first Gucci scope. Also, scooped up a real AR-15. Okay, all of those statements are true and accurate. Armalite, you got an Armalite AR-15, that's cool. You got a Gucci scope. That Nightforce NX8 1-8 is a Gucci scope. I actually have one behind me right there on that gun. That is a pretty sweet scope. I like it. I like it a lot. However, the issue here is how you combine the two, okay? You did everything wrong. Everything wrong. First off, don't mount your optic on your handguard because handguard deflection can and will absolutely 100% affect your zero and the accuracy of your rifle, your group size, all that stuff. Always mount it on the receiver because that is what the barrel is actually attached to. Your barrel is not attached to your handguard. Your barrel is attached to your upper receiver. That's where your optic needs to be mounted to be most effective. Okay. Now, step 2 is mount it facing the right direction. That mount is actually on backwards. That Burris mount, so it's called a cantilever mount. Right now he has it cantilevering to the rear. Cantilever mounts need to cantilever to the front. The whole reason cantilever mounts exist is so that you can mount your optic on your upper receiver and still get the eyepiece far enough away from your eye to be usable. That's the whole reason they exist. You're doing everything backwards. You're counter whatevering its existence by doing it this way. And counter whatevering is the term here. Because you're doing it the exact opposite. You're cantilevering to the rear instead of to the front. You're cantilevering to the rear to get it closer to your eye instead of cantilevering to the front to get away from your eye because it's not mounted in the right place. Okay, that's actually, I think, the only thing wrong here, if I'm not mistaken. We look good, you know, rear sights on there correctly. I wish this was a higher res photo so I could critique the stake job if there is any. But yeah, so yeah, I think that's it. If you guys see anything I missed on this one, drop it in the comments. All right, let's move on. Okay, so I'm not going to go into how these should be done differently, but I will go into just that these, I don't even know I don't even know how to do this one. Y'all, come on. I almost said you guys because I've been in Iowa for too long, but it's y'all. I don't know what to do, y'all. Okay, so we got the trunk guns. You got them in 3 flavors, all right? You got raspberry, you got America, and then you got, what's those things that the old people carry in their pockets? Okay, I got it. I literally had to Google it because it was driving me crazy. I couldn't continue the video without it. You got what, raspberry explosion, you got America, and then you got butterscotch, courtesy of the old person down the way. You know, the old people always carry butterscotch in their pocket, I think. I don't know, maybe that's an old person stereotype. Anywho, these guns are pretty gnarly. They're also probably, I wish this was a higher resolution picture so I can see the price on them instead of just blur. Dang. I guarantee you they're charging way too much for this cheap. So these handguards here, these are like your generic cookie cutter handguards, okay? Everyone and their mom who wants to get into making AR-15s cheap makes this exact handguard. Now, the good news is you save so much weight because you took out this pick rail and cut away the word into it. I'm kidding. It's still, it's silly. These are, so I make fun of these handguards because I've had to fix so many of them, or remove so many of them, I should say. That's the only way to really fix them because they're just not good. Same thing with this muzzle device. This is clearly, it's purely cosmetic. You're not reducing any kind of blast or recoil or muzzle flash or anything to a significant amount to make any noticeable difference anywhere. That's just, all it is a snag hazard. It's cosmetic and it's silly. Yeah, so I think that's really all I got to say about butterscotch here. You got your butterscotch selector with the really sharp point. So it's like when you got the butterscotch in your mouth for so long, it gets sharp edges on it. That's literally this safety selector, and it's not good. But you got anti-rotation pins. I wonder what trigger's in there. I bet you they're using anti-rotation pins with the mil-spec trigger. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. not even mil-spec, like the cheap knockoff of the mil-spec one. And my issue with these types of guns isn't necessarily that it's a Trump gun or it's a, you know, whatever, insert whatever here gun. It's that they use the cheapest parts possible to make them and then charge more because of what they think it is, right? And that's my issue with these. That's really my issue with them. And then, so on the America flavored here, you got that same freaking selector. But on this one, you have a receiver that flows into your handguard. So you got a billet receiver here that's probably machined even worse than whatever these other receivers are. They're forged, but who knows who forged them. Yeah, there's only 4 forges, bro. Like, don't even come into my comments with that, because the forging isn't really what matters in most cases nowadays. It's who machined that forging. You can have the best forging in the world, do a freaking PSA machine job on it, and still end up with never mind. You guys get what I'm trying to say. Now, I don't know who makes these two. I don't know what make these two stocks are. This one I've seen before. The name of it's escaping me, but I know what it is later, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, so what flavor did I call this one? Raspberry Explosion, because that's exactly what it's going to do in your hand because whoever built this didn't check the headspace. So you got Raspberry Explosion here, all the same issues as butterscotch, except with Raspberry Explosion you don't get the anti-walk pins. You just get standard pins. You got to pay more for butterscotch, I think. But you know, the good news is at least one of these you can snag the TruGlow Ignite 30mm red dot sight with that bad boy. So I'm a fan of. I like TruGlow's. I like some of TruGlow's handgun sights, like their iron sights for handguns, like their fiber optics. They're like TFOs. They're tritium fiber optics. Those are cool. Their AR optics, not so much. Yeah, I think this is the last one. Let's take a look at it. Oh, first, before we move on, let me know what your favorite flavor is. Raspberry Explosion, butterscotch, or America. All right. Yeah, this is the last one. Okay. So this is one of those that, like, you look at it at a glance. You glance at it and you're like, oh yeah, cool, you know, AR with an ACOG. And then you come back to it and you're like, whoa, pump the brakes there, Chief. We need to talk about this. And what's most disturbing about this picture is that it's slung. It's slung and it appears to be outside. Someone's actively using this gun. I don't know how, because for those of you, this is a real ACOG, I think. So for those of you who have used ACOGs, you know that there ain't no way, brother, that you were using this ACOG this far up on the receiver, okay? Let's ignore the fact that he's bridging the receiver and handguard and just talk about, like, his face has got to be like right here, right where my mouse is, right? To be using that like that's on the receiver. Brother, remove the rear sight. Just take the rear sight off. You ain't gotta, listen, brother, you ain't got a mounting bolt in it anyway. It's not doing any work. Zero work whatsoever. Just take it off. Slide this back. You want a backup sight? You got your freaking RMR on top. I think that's what it is. It looks like one. Anywho. Yeah, somebody, like, there's no way this dude did this. I don't know. I wish more people, I don't know what I'm trying to say, guys. I think y'all know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to think of a nice way to say it is the issue. I wish more people did a little bit of research. Just a little. Like, it doesn't take much research to know you shouldn't bridge your gap. it literally just takes looking down your sight to know that this is not this distance is not okay. And it takes absolutely nothing to know that you need the mounting bolt that came in the rear sight. Like that's like whenever you build something, you build a model or a Lego set or something, and you got some pieces left over, and you're like, dang, hope those weren't important. I've never done that while mounting iron sights, because it's pretty intuitive to where the pieces go. Also, there's a bad lever on this gun. That's this thing right here, battery assisted device. Absolutely hate it. If you like it, that's cool. I'm not going to tell you to take it off. Just look at some of the, so there's videos out there where people are using them because you hit the bad lever like in the trigger guard, and if you're running and gunning and you hit it hard, you can come off of it and hit the trigger right behind it and then fire around when you don't want to. I've seen so many people do that, and I know the argument is like, oh, you should train with your equipment, and it's like, yeah, but I mean, when your adrenaline's flowing, or you have muscle fatigue, you know, whatever, it's really easy to make those stupid little mistakes, and I'm all for mitigating those stupid little mistakes. Okay, so that's it, guys. I think that was everything. If y'all noticed something that I missed in one of these pictures, let me know in the comments, and yeah, just leave it in the comments down below. Like I said before, please hit that like and subscribe button, and if you enjoyed this video, let me know. We'll do it again. Okay, so that's all I got. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see y'all in the next one.